Have you ever noticed that overthinkers don't just think, they run a full investigative agency inside their heads? You send a text like okay, and if the other person doesn't reply in 5 minutes, your brain starts reviewing CCTV footage, analyzing fingerprints, and opening a case file titled, Why They Secretly Hate Me. Overthinking is wild. One tiny thought becomes a 3-season Netflix drama with plot twists, emotional damage, and a soundtrack that absolutely does not match the situation. Meanwhile, in real life, nothing is happening. Absolutely nothing. But your mind? Oh, it's busy. Too busy. So today, let's take a little tour inside the mind of an overthinker. If you clicked on this video, there's a 99% chance you've spent a concerning amount of time trapped inside your own brain recently. And by trapped, I mean doing the classic Overthinker Olympics, replaying conversations from last week, analyzing why someone said okay without a smiley face, or wondering if that one awkward moment from 2014 is still haunting your reputation. It's not. I promise. Maybe you've had one of these moments. You're about to send a simple text, literally just sure sounds good, and suddenly it becomes a full creative writing assignment. You type it. Delete it. Rephrase it. Add a period. Remove the period because now it feels aggressive. Add an emoji, but that feels too friendly. Suddenly you're rethinking your entire personality over one message. Or maybe you lie in bed at night and your brain decides it's the perfect time to open every tab in your mental browser. Remember that thing you said today? Yeah, that was weird. Let's obsess over it for the next hour. Meanwhile, all you want is sleep, not a TED Talk from your anxiety. And let's not pretend the smallest decisions aren't secretly life or death. Picking a meal on a menu? Overthinkers treat it like they're signing a mortgage. Choosing which show to watch. Suddenly it's the hardest decision of the year. The funniest part is, you know you're doing it. You know you're spiraling. You know none of it is actually that serious. But your brain? Oh, your brain is like, no, let's run the simulation anyway. If any of this feels painfully accurate, welcome. You're in the right place. This video gets you. And we're going to unpack this beautifully chaotic mind of yours together. Let's talk about the biggest trap overthinkers fall into, because it's not what most people think. The real mistake isn't overthinking. Nope. It's trying to stop overthinking by, wait for it, overthinking the process of how to stop overthinking. You know exactly what I mean. You decide, okay, enough. I'm done overthinking. And your brain, instead of cooperating, goes, great. Let's overanalyze how to not overanalyze. Suddenly you're researching mindfulness techniques, creating a 7-step emotional detox plan, watching 3 mental health videos at once, and asking yourself deep philosophical questions like, but what if the goal of not overthinking is itself an overthought? Another very common mistake, taking every thought seriously. Overthinkers treat their random brain chatter like ancient wisdom carved on a sacred stone tablet. Your mind whispers something like, what if you embarrassed yourself earlier? And instead of going, brain, please calm down, you're like, oh no, let me investigate this thoroughly. You run a full internal FBI operation over something that probably didn't even happen the way you imagine. And how about the classic disaster rehearsal? Someone says, hey, can we talk later? A normal person, sure. You, okay, so they're mad, or they're leaving, or I've ruined everything, or maybe they found out that one weird thing I said in 2017. Or maybe they just want to talk. Your brain never chooses the last option. Most people give overthinkers terrible advice too. Just stop thinking about it. Oh wow. Revolutionary. Why didn't I think of that? I'll just hit the off switch on my brain like a light bulb. Or, you worry too much. Amazing diagnosis, doctor. Do you also tell people with allergies, just stop sneezing? The truth is, the real mistake is treating overthinking like an enemy to fight. Fighting thoughts only makes them louder. It's like telling a crying baby to be quiet, you're getting a louder baby. Overthinking isn't a villain. It's a hyperactive assistant. A very dramatic, nervous, easily overwhelmed assistant, but still trying its best. The goal isn't to shut it down. It's to guide it. And that's where everything starts to change. Here's the truth about overthinking that most people never realize: it's not really about the thoughts. It's not even about the situation you're obsessing over. The real engine running the whole show is something much deeper. You want to feel safe. Overthinkers don't spiral because they're dramatic. They spiral because their brain is trying, in a very chaotic way, to protect them. When you overanalyze a message, a decision, a conversation, or the future, what you're actually craving is certainty. You want reassurance that you won't be embarrassed, rejected, misunderstood, or blindsided. It's not the scenario you're afraid of. It's the feeling that the scenario might create. Overthinkers want stability. They want control. They want to avoid regret. They want to make the right choice, say the right thing, be seen in the right way. It's really about wanting peace, not perfection. Once you understand this, that your mind isn't attacking you, it's trying, poorly, to keep you safe, you stop treating overthinking like a monster and start treating it like a scared friend who needs direction. That's the moment the whole game shifts. Alright, let's get to the heart of this whole overthinking chaos. Because here's the twist you probably weren't expecting. Overthinking isn't the problem. Misdirected thinking is. Yup. It's not that your brain thinks too much, it's that it thinks in the wrong direction. It's like owning a Ferrari but only driving it backwards. Or having a supercomputer that you're using to play Minesweeper. Overthinkers aren't weak. They're not confused. They're not broken. If anything, they're running cognitive software on maximum performance mode at all times. The real issue is that the brain keeps using its power to analyze danger that doesn't exist, create scenarios that won't happen, and stress about things that aren't even in your control. Once you learn to redirect that power, everything changes. Let's break this down. Your brain isn't being dramatic, it's being efficient, just incorrectly. People talk about overthinking like it's some glitch, but actually, it's a feature. Your brain is wired to predict danger. It's built to look for patterns, threats, consequences. The problem? Your brain was designed for a world where danger meant lions, cliffs, or poisonous berries. Now it's applying that same survival instinct to. Why did she reply K instead of OK? Did that joke sound weird? What if I make the wrong choice and ruin my entire life? Should I have used a different emoji? You're not malfunctioning. Your brain is just using primal level danger detection on modern-day social problems. And because your mind is powerful, it takes tiny uncertainties and zooms in like a camera that's way too dramatic. Your brain thinks it's helping. It thinks it's protecting you. But it's basically overachieving in the wrong department. Overthinking starts with uncertainty. Let's say something happens that feels unclear, a tone, a decision, a message, a moment. Your brain hates uncertainty the way cats hate water. So what does it do? It tries to eliminate uncertainty with logic. But because you can't know the future, your brain says, no problem, I'll just create 700 possible futures and stress you out about all of them. This is where the spiral begins. Your brain is trying to predict. Trying to prevent mistakes. Trying to avoid regret. Trying to control outcomes. All valid goals. Just terrible methods. Here's the insight that changes everything. Overthinking is fear dressed up as planning. It feels like you're being responsible. It feels like you're preparing. It feels like you're doing the smart thing. But in reality, you're running endless simulations, without actually solving anything. It's like opening 35 tabs on your computer, none of which you actually read. It's mental busywork. And here's the big idea. Your brain doesn't calm down when you think more. It calms down when you think clearly. Thinking more is not equal to clarity. Thinking better equals clarity. So what does thinking better look like? Directed thinking, the overthinker's secret weapon. Instead of trying to stop thoughts, which never works, or trying to argue with your thoughts, which makes things worse, you redirect them. You train your mind to move from crossmark catastrophe heavy checkmark clarity, crossmark assumption heavy checkmark awareness, crossmark worst case heavy checkmark realistic case, crossmark panic heavy checkmark problem solving, crossmark imagination heavy checkmark information. You're not shutting down the brain. You're upgrading the operating system. Think of your mind like a search engine. If you type reasons I'm a failure, your brain will pull up a list. Not because it's true, but because that's what you asked it for. But if you type, okay, what's the next helpful step? Your brain will bring you answers for that. Same mind. Same power. Different direction. Analogy time. Your brain is a powerful flashlight. Imagine your thinking is a flashlight. Wherever you point it, the details become brighter. Most overthinkers have the flashlight pointed at problems. What could go wrong? What if I mess this up? What if they misunderstood? What if I'm not good enough? And guess what? If you shine a light on the worst-case scenario long enough, everything starts looking scary. But if you point the flashlight somewhere else, toward solutions, possibilities, clarity, action, your entire experience changes. The flashlight isn't the problem. You just need to point it somewhere useful. The mental traffic light model. Here's an easy way to understand your thoughts. Green equals productive thoughts. These lead to clarity, action, or solutions. Example, what are the top 1 to 2 things I can do about this? Yellow equals neutral thoughts. Random ideas, observations. Not harmful. Red equals anxiety thoughts. Loops, spirals. Catastrophes. Endless what-ifs. Example, what if I ruin everything I touch forever? Overthinkers get stuck at the red light. They sit there for hours like, why am I not moving? Directed thinking helps you. Red, yellow, green. That's progress. That's peace. The skill overthinkers don't realize they have. Here's something no one tells you. Overthinkers are actually excellent at spotting patterns, understanding emotions, anticipating needs, imagining scenarios, creative problem solving, noticing details. That's why your brain is always active. You're naturally observant, intuitive, and imaginative. The goal isn't to eliminate these traits. The goal is to use them intentionally. Imagine you used your analysis power for something helpful. Instead of, what if I embarrass myself? You think, what could I do to feel more prepared? Instead of, what if this goes wrong? You think, what would it look like if this goes right? Instead of, I need to plan every possible outcome. You think, I'll handle situations as they come. This is the upgrade. This is the shift. This is the difference between drowning in thoughts and guiding them. The big picture. Your mind isn't a monster. It's a high-performance engine. The problem is that no one taught you how to steer it. Overthinking isn't solved by suppressing thoughts. It's solved by retraining them. By directing them. By guiding them. By giving your brain a better job to do. Once you learn this skill, your thoughts stop overwhelming you and start working for you. Your mind becomes a partner, not a threat. And that, right there, is the core insight that transforms everything. Alright, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you, yes, you, deciding to finally fix your sleep schedule. Tonight is the night. You're done being a nocturnal philosopher who suddenly discovers the meaning of life at 2:57 a.m. You're serious. Determined. Focused. You brush your teeth early, set your alarm like a responsible adult, and lie down thinking, this is it. I'm turning my life around. But the moment your head hits the pillow, your brain pops up like, hey, quick question. You sigh. What? Your brain goes, remember that one embarrassing thing you did in 2014? You know. And also, why? Brain, well, here it is in 4K Ultra HD. Suddenly, you're reliving it, the stumble, the awkward laugh, the cringe. You try to shake it off. You attempt deep breathing. You tell yourself you're calm. But your brain is already warmed up and is now scrolling through every possible worry like it's flipping channels at 3 a.m. What if you never get your life together? What if your boss's message "we need to talk" wasn't actually about scheduling? What if you said something weird at lunch today and everyone secretly judged you? What if? You snap. Bro. I'm trying to sleep. Brain, right, but also, have you considered all the ways your future could fall apart in the next 5 years? Now you're wide awake, sitting up in bed like a confused meerkat. The clock says 1:43 a.m. You try distracting yourself with your phone, terrible idea, because now you've fallen into a rabbit hole of productivity reels that make you feel like you should have already built a 7-figure business and mastered the violin. And the funniest part? In the morning, when you're exhausted and trying to explain to someone why you slept at 4 a.m., you can't even summarize what you were thinking about. It was just everything. Everywhere. All at once. This is the overthinker's life, endless mental tabs open, notifications from your own brain interrupting everything, and a constant internal dialogue that feels like a dramatic telenovela you never auditioned for. And yet, this chaos is exactly the clue to understanding your mind better. Alright, now that we've seen how overthinking hijacks your life, let's talk about some practical ways to take back control. These are steps you can start using today, no PhD in psychology required. Step 1. Name the spiral. The moment you notice yourself overthinking, label it. Say to yourself, this is a what-if spiral. It's a future prediction loop. It's a regret replay. Naming it takes away some of its power. Suddenly, you're observing it instead of being trapped inside it. Step 2. Ask the guiding question. Whenever a thought triggers anxiety, ask. Am I thinking to solve a problem, or am I thinking just to soothe anxiety? If it's the latter, that's your cue to redirect your brain instead of letting it run wild. Step 3. Give your brain a task. Overthinking thrives on idle energy. Give it something useful to focus on. Write down a simple 2-step action plan. Focus on what's in your control right now. Decide the very next thing you can do to move forward. Step 4. Shrink the problem. Instead of what if everything goes wrong, narrow it down to, what's the next tiny step I can take? Small, actionable steps stop your mind from spiraling. Step 5. Set a time limit. Tell yourself, I can think about this for 5 minutes. After that, get up, move, or switch your attention to something else. Boundaries make overthinking manageable. Step 6. Optional but powerful. Use humor. Notice the ridiculousness of your mental loops. Laugh at them. Picture your overthinking brain as a hyperactive toddler or a dramatic movie director. Humor reduces stress and makes it easier to redirect thoughts. Follow these steps consistently, and over time, your brain learns to work for you instead of against you. Here's a fun, simple trick to lock in all the overthinking hacks we've talked about: the movie director technique. Whenever your brain starts spiraling, Imagine that you're sitting in a movie theater, except the movie is starring you. Your thoughts are the scenes, in your brain. It's the overenthusiastic director shouting, "Cut! Wrong scene! Too dramatic! Not enough suspense! Now, step behind the camera. Take control. Choose the scene you actually want to see. Switch the angle. Change the script. Rewrite the outcome." Your brain is still thinking, still analyzing, but now it's following your direction, not running wild on its own. Example, you imagine a disastrous scenario about a text you sent. Pause. Cut. Reframe it. Replace the nightmare with a neutral or positive outcome. They probably didn't even notice, or it's not that serious. The beauty? This technique creates psychological distance. Your thoughts are no longer overwhelming reality, they're scenes you can edit. You're the director, not the actor trapped in the chaos. Try it once, twice, 3 times, and soon, overthinking stops feeling like an endless horror movie and starts feeling like a film you actually get to script. Bonus, it's kind of fun. And who doesn't want to be the director of their own mental blockbuster? So, here's the takeaway: overthinking isn't a flaw, it's a superpower that's just been pointing in the wrong direction. Your brain isn't the enemy. It's a high-powered engine that, with a little guidance, can stop creating problems that don't exist and start helping you solve the ones that actually matter. Remember the key steps: name the spiral, ask if you're solving or soothing, give your brain a task, shrink the problem, set a time limit, and, when in doubt, use humor or the movie director technique to regain control. Little by little, these practices turn chaos into clarity. The best part? You don't have to shut off your mind or stop thinking entirely. You just need to direct it, like a director guiding the perfect scene. That's how overthinking stops feeling like a trap and starts becoming your secret weapon. If this video helped you feel a little more in control, or even just made you laugh at your own mental drama, consider hitting subscribe. Stick around for more tips, tricks, and brain hacks that make life feel just a little lighter. And hey, take a deep breath, redirect that brain power, and go live your life on your terms.